And welcome to Veritone's Automate Studio launch webinar. Today, we have Ryan Basler, VP of Marketing for the AIware Business Unit, and Ben Haas, Sales Engineer. And today, they're going to share with you our new product. Ryan, over to you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome and excited to share with you Automate Studio and the underlying AIware platform. So today we're going to go very quickly through a few things. First, we're going to give you an introduction about Veritone, talk about some of the business challenges that we address, talk about AIware, and then get into the Automate Studio overview. And then I'll hand it off to Ben, who's going to show us what's possible with video and transcript search and discovery, and then dive into kind of how we did that, or how we can do that with Automate Studio through building a new flow, showing a pre-built flow for public safety, and showing a pre-built flow for media and entertainment, and that'll be it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. So for those who are not familiar with Veritone, we're a leading provider of AI technology and solutions with our AIware platform, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. With AIware, customers can leverage an ecosystem of hundreds of ready-to-deploy AI models that make it easy to get business value from video, audio, text, and data content at scale in near real time without requiring AI specialists. And we work with some very large partners and customers across many different domains, most notably very large media companies, sports companies, law enforcement agencies, and AIware really fuels and powers a lot of the solutions that we provide to these partners and customers. So what exactly do we solve? If you were to summarize what Veritone does in a nutshell, it would be that we are solving challenges around unusable content. So organizations are flooded with content, whether it's video, audio content, text content, and they need to use that information in their business for compliance, et cetera, and it's just not usable today. And Veritone brings visibility and clarity into your content, makes it usable throughout your organization. Manual search and extract. When you do need to understand that content, today we have customers who literally, before AIware, have gone in and spent hours and hours and days going through content, searching for certain key pieces of information, and then extracting that or using it in their business. This is solved by Veritone as well. And then finally, inefficient processes. The fact that many business processes can be automated end to end, but the missing piece is the video and audio aspects and text aspects that are being used in the business process, where again you have to have manual effort to get to those things. So being able to automate that last frontier of content is really what Veritone does. Now, how we do that is through AI, and AI itself has had many challenges up until now. First, with complexity, the simple mere fact that there are dozens, hundreds of vendors out there that do AI and that have provided AI engines, but it's very complex. You have to learn every single API. You have to integrate those APIs into your systems, and you're dependent on that vendor that in terms of its roadmap, et cetera. So we solve that with our AIware platform that we'll talk about, and Automate Studio makes that even easier. So we'll talk about that as well. Second, AI deployability. So historically, AI has been very difficult to deploy and scale. It might work in the lab, but try to get that in production, it can be difficult. So the AIware and Automate Studio offerings of Veritone make that much, much easier to do at scale and without AI expertise. And that's really the last point, is AI can be expensive. Organizations have employed data scientists and ML developers and engineers to build the engines that solve the problems they want to solve, but that could be extremely expensive and time consuming. And we solve that with our pre-built, ready to deploy AI models and the studio access to those models that we'll talk about today. So you've heard me talk about AIware. AIware and Automate Studio work hand in hand, and we'll see how that works. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about AIware. Just like in a traditional operating system where you have various pieces of structured data that you need to optimize. So you have a Windows system, you're using the Windows system, and the underlying peripherals are really of no concern when you're using Windows. You're simply using the applications, and you no longer have to worry about installing drivers or worry about writing things to memory or to the hard drive or how it all works under the covers. You just use it. Well, that's really where AIware comes in. AIware is very, very similar paradigm, except it's a cognitive operating system optimized for unstructured data such as video, images, audio files, text files. And in a similar fashion, you don't have to worry about the individual engine APIs or how they work or how you get access to them. You simply call them to do what you need to do in your applications, which is the top layer. And what Automate Studio has done is taken that API layer and actually created a much, much easier way to get to these engines through the AIware operating system. And we'll talk about that. So what about process automation today? Where does Veritone come in? Well, many organizations already have business process automation, RPA, robotic process automation. They might have a document capture system. They might be doing BI. And they're trying to automate end-to-end processes, whether that be onboarding, claims, customer service, new accounts, whatever the case may be. You have these automations going on, but where things get a little bit difficult to automate is in this unstructured content that we're talking about, and even structured content that's just not doesn't have the visibility that it needs. There's just too much of it to process. So that's really where Veritone comes in, providing that intelligent contact extraction, insight, and understanding into these types of content. So we're gonna get into this next. So how we do that is basically a three-step process. First, with your business applications and systems on the top there, whether it's a BPA, RPA, you might have a content management system, record management system, a line of business system. You might have your own custom apps you've developed. Whatever business applications or systems you have in place today, you can interface Veritone's Automate Studio and AIware into those systems through these three steps. So first you ingest the content, then you enrich it with various cognitive engines that we'll talk about, and then you infuse the resulting insight back into your business systems. So getting into the details of that ingest, enrich, infuse 1, 2, 3 step there. First off, ingesting. So this could be ingesting from cloud and on-premise file systems where you might have video or audio stored or various files. You might have a live audio video stream. And what makes us so powerful with the platform of AIware is that you can process this live audio video stream in near real time. One customer has done 4.5 years worth of processing. If you were to watch that video in real time, 4.5 years worth, and we processed it and found the pertinent data in 1 day. So very impressive stuff, very scalable, and being able to handle massive amounts of information. So you ingest the content wherever it may come from, and then you enrich it. And this is where really the underlying AIware platform comes into play, housing as an operating system for AI, housing over 20 different cognition classes that cover hundreds of different AI models and engines. And you can see some of those on the left. So whether that's text engines for natural language processing, entity extraction, keyword extraction, summarization, sentiment, stuff like that. These technologies are all under the text umbrella. Then you might have a need for machine vision. So this would be like detecting an object in a video or a logo, or even OCR within a video or a license plate. You might have speech needs where you have to transcribe and translate speech. You might have to detect speakers. If there's multiple different speakers, you might have to figure out which speakers are in which times and time slice that and time stamp that to where the speakers are identified. and also face detection and recognition is another one here under biometrics. So whatever the case, whatever the need, this Automate Studio offering allows that workflow to occur of ingesting your content, enriching it, and then infusing it. And we'll talk about infuse now. With the intelligence and insight you get from that content, you can send those outputs, whether that's a clip of a video, whether that's keywords from text, and you can send that back into your calling system, the RPA, BPA system, or even your own custom application that you're developing. We have custom connectors out of the box that allow you to do this, and you can send these insights in various ways, as you see here. So who can do this? The target user for Automate Studio, and where we've seen success, is the user who is not necessarily a hardcore developer. You can be a developer, but we designed it to be drag and drop, as you'll see, where a business analyst or a citizen developer can simply open this up, connect the ingest, enrich, infuse steps in a simple workflow, and then deploy that and have it called through web services by your application or by your system or your process management system. So this is how Automate Studio fits into the entire ecosystem of aiWare. Going very quickly through this, because this is a lot of good information here, but going very quickly through this, you have the ingestion on the bottom there, and there's various adapters we provide for that allow you to easily ingest from common data sources. Then this cognition layer of hundreds of different engines that we talked about. The controller layer that allows for what we call chained cognition. It allows stitching together these different engines and being able to do multiple different AI steps within the same environment and same flow, which is very, very powerful. No one else can do that. Then metadata search and indexing. So this is where you're taking that content and indexing the content that you want to index for later search, or you could extract certain parts of that content. And you do that through the integration layer, which is either APIs, which is what we've had for a few years with the aiWare platform, or now with this brand new offering, Automate Studio, to allow you to do this in a very low-code way without being an advanced programmer. And then the top layer is applications, whether Veritone applications that we've developed for specific use cases that we just don't have time to get into today, or your applications that you developed or the systems that are calling them. So a couple more slides and then we'll hand it off to Ben for a demonstration. So this is what the Automate Studio low-code environment looks like on the right there. And in a nutshell, provides the low-code access to the aiWare operating system for AI. So it is pre-integrated with the aiWare ecosystem, so you can very easily drag a node over and use that in your workflow. Secondly, it's future-proof. So you have a single interface across all the different engines in the ecosystem, not only an interface from a programming perspective, but now in a low-code perspective, you have a single interface there as well. Scalable, as we talked about, and purpose-built. So we do have some pre-built flows that are provided, as well as some import and export adapters and connectors that you can leverage day one. And it's built on the Node-RED open source workflow software. So you're going to be getting the benefit of an open source platform to be able to leverage other people's work as well in terms of workflows and nodes. So going back to the ingest, enrich, infuse three-step process, this is just at a high level where you would ingest the audio, video, or structured data, and again, through various sources. Then second, you can enrich that data through literally drag and dropping the AI engines onto the canvas and then configuring those and orchestrating multiple engines across different classes and capabilities, whether that's face or audio or text or object detection, translation, whatever the case may be. And then finally, infuse. being able to take the intelligence and insight you've gained from that content and send those back to the calling application or system that needs it. And we do have some custom connectors that are supported out of the box, including Salesforce, VMC, Health Scout. But this just gives you a very high-level idea of how Automate Studio works. So with that, let's go ahead and see it in action, and I'm going to hand it over to Ben Ha. Ben?
Great. Thanks, Ryan. So the first application we're going to take a look at during this demonstration is our discovery application. This is one of the many applications available on the aiWARE platform, and this will allow you to demonstrate the power of running AI cognition, and then we'll take a look at how Automate Studio helps with that processing. Starting off with the search bar at the top of the screen, what this discovery application allows you to do is explore your content and quickly run AI cognition to understand what's inside of it. So think about the unstructured content like audio and video content, images that traditionally a human would have to spend hours and hours to manually watch and then index what's going on. What we can do now is we can quickly process and ingest that content, and then we can run the cognition to be able to quickly find what we're looking for. So just to give you an example, what I'm going to show you is some examples of how we can search and quickly find that content. This first example is searching by keyword. So what I can do now is I can look for a word such as coronavirus. And what that's going to do is find all the content where that word or phrase was mentioned or spoken throughout the conversation. And then what we're going to do now is you'll see that just over the last 30 days, keep in mind we're pulling in public feeds such as radio broadcasts and TV broadcasts. And so we're looking just at the news count, for example, we have over 11,000 results over the last 30 days. What I can do now is narrow this down even further. So let's say that I wanted to get more specific and say beyond just coronavirus being mentioned, I also want to see it specifically when Anderson Cooper's face is on here. So this face search allows us to train a library on one or more photos of this individual, in this case, Anderson Cooper. And now I can just search and find all the content where his face appears on screen. And you'll see that it adds an and result between them. So it's going to use Boolean logic to really combine the results and filter down further. So we went from over 11,000 results to just over 2,000. It was just with that additional search criteria. We can narrow down even further by searching by recognized text on screen. So maybe I also want to see it when it says breaking news flashing across the bottom of the screen. So now I can search within the recognized text, which uses optical character recognition. And now I add that third option to my criteria. So I'll look for breaking news. And now it's going to do another and of those results. So now we're down to just 7 from nearly over 11,000 results. So because of that power of searching across multiple categories simultaneously, this allows us to really find the needle in the haystack, in this case, the intersection of those 3 search criteria results. Now, if I actually pull up this result, what you're going to see is a snippet taken from, in this case, a CNN broadcast, where we're actually going through and we're actually able to see where that intersection occurs. So what I'm going to do is jump ahead to a portion of the snippet and play it back for you guys.
Contest and major wins that have made him the front runner of the race. It's also the first to go without a live studio audience because of the coronavirus.
So as you can see, it plays back and will highlight in the transcript itself all the words being spoken, including coronavirus, which we just searched on. You also notice inside of the video player, it shows breaking news on screen. It shows Anderson Cooper's face. And so very quickly, we went through thousands of hours of media, quickly found this exact intersection using the power of AI and searching. So that's our discovery application. You can kind of see how we can apply all these different tools in the platform to have a user-facing application that makes a lot of sense for a particular workflow. What I'm going to show you guys next is our Automate Studio application, which allows you to quickly and intelligently build a workflow. So it allows you to do intelligent process automation, incorporating both business logic with if-then types of statements, as well as all the cognitive AI processing capability on the platform. So to show you how simple this is to work with, what I'm going to do is start off by building a workflow for you guys live. So this first option is we're going to actually build a workflow that will take in content from a secure FTP folder. And let's say that there's Spanish phone calls. We're going to transcribe that in Spanish. Then we're going to translate that over to English so that we know what's being discussed. And then we're going to email that out. And I'll show you how simple it is to build that using Automate Studio. On the left-hand side, you'll see these different nodes on screen. A node is really just a predefined task or function that is going to allow you to connect to different input and output sources, as well as apply different types of operations such as ETL as you're working with the data. And so in this first example, we're going to take our secure FTP node, and now we can double click on it. And then this allows us to name the node and actually walk through the configuration. So I can actually go through here. I can configure all my FTP settings for securely connecting. And I can go ahead and add that to the list. And now I can start my first process through. After the secure FTP process, I may want to follow that up with my AI processing. So you'll see an entire section on the left devoted to AI-aware nodes. And so all I have to do is drag the AI processing node onto the screen, connect the dots, and now I can double click on this and start configuring this. So the first step might be to run Spanish transcription. So what I can do now is select from all the different cognitive categories available within the platform. And so we're going to go down to the transcription category, and we have over 100 different cognitive engines or models just within that category. What we're going to select is specifically a Spanish transcription engine that is focused in on doing telephone type of quality recording. So after we transcribe it, we may then want to run translation so that we know it's being discussed. So now I can add another AI processing node, connect the dots, and then call this one English translation. I can then go into my category and choose translation. Then I'll choose my Spanish to English translation engine. So very quickly now we can actually build and start connecting the dots between these multiple categories of cognition. And then the final step might be to format the resulting translated text and email that out to someone. So now I can go ahead and look for my email node, connect the dots between those, and then I can double click on that and set up my properties accordingly. And then I can set up my SMTP server settings to send out that email. So very quickly, in a matter of minutes, you see how easy it is to build and connect the dots and build your workflow. Once you're done with this process, what you can do is not only test it out in this designer view, but we have the ability to deploy this as an engine within the platform. And so now, just like all the other cognitive engines we showcased for you earlier, such as searching through text being spoken in a conversation or a face on screen, we can now deploy this as another cognitive engine within the platform. And now it's available through both the API layer for programmatic integrations, as well as through our application layer. And so now you have the ability to quickly build your own cognitive engine with having to write little to no code. So that's really the value of Automate Studio. What I'm going to show you guys next is some real world examples of how we've applied these Automate workflows in production customer environments. So this first workflow we're going to take a look at is for dealing with known offender library import. To give you some context, one of the applications on our application suite is called Identify, specifically targeted at law enforcement in the public sector. And so what that allows you to do is take photographic or video evidence, typically from CCTV footage and sources like that, and then compare the faces in that evidence against a known offender database. So typically that would be the booking photos or mugshots that the police agency has access to. So we're taking a task no human being can do, which is compare the faces and the evidence against millions of mugshot photos, and now we're making that possible, but still putting the human on the loop to make that final decision on who is a suspect worth pursuing. So that's the context of what we're seeing here, and what this Automate flow will do is it will allow you to connect to the RMS system, which stands for Records Management System, at those police agencies. So every police agency, even within a particular county or even a neighboring area, they all use different RMS systems. They're all on-premise, they're all siloed, they can't talk to each other. And so what we're able to do now is connect to that disparate system, pull in that data on a nightly basis so that every time someone is booked, we'll take the latest booking photos and records and demographic data, and then we'll import that in and allowing us to retrain the facial recognition engine on the platform so that it's ready for use within Identify the next day. So that's really what this process is centered around. It allows us to do some ETL types of operations, it allows us to connect to a disparate system and do that custom ingestion process and build that adapter. And it also allows us to run the preparation of training the facial recognition engine so it's ready for use. So that's one example of a workflow that's in production today. Another example I'm going to show you guys is EDI Generation. So this is focused more on our media entertainment sector, where we're able to go in and work with different media clients to be able to use AI cognition to search and discover content, as we showed you earlier in our discovery application. And once we're able to find content that is of use, we're able to quickly generate clips of those contents to then pull into a master clip for editing within a video editing suite such as Adobe Premiere. So the context of this workflow is we have episodic content already ingested into AIware. We're searching and finding those key moments and highlights from those shows using Discovery, as we showed you earlier. And then once we find that content, what we're able to do is add that to a collection, which is really a curated list of clips based off of the search results in our Discovery app. So once you've curated those contents, your end goal might be to produce maybe a YouTube video or super clip, collating all those different clips together into one final edited production. And so usually you would use a video editing suite such as Adobe Premiere to help you with that. What this workflow is going to do is it allows you to take the curated content you've already generated inside of AIware using our collections application. And then what you're able to do is generate an EDL file, which stands for Edit Decision List. So for those of you unfamiliar with that term, what that actually is a generic type of format that will capture the different files required from a video editing perspective. So here are the 5 video files I need to incorporate into my video project. And here are the corresponding start and end times for each of those clips that I need to utilize. So it's a way of passing in the names of the clips and also the time in and out sequence information that needs to be put into a particular order so that it can be edited within the video editing application. And so this workflow allows us to do exactly that. What I can do is within our collections application, you can curate content like we're seeing over here based off of the search results from Discovery. And then when you're ready, you're able to click Generate EDL. And what that's going to do is this is a custom context menu option that we've added for this particular project. And now what this does is it links right into the automated workflow. It calls that, and it will now send this curated clip data into the workflow to then transform that into an EDL file that can be imported right into Adobe Premiere, as well as any other video editing application out there. And so if I click Generate EDL, what's going to happen is it will actually create this EDL file that looks something like this. So again, it's going to capture the clip names that are involved, along with the start and end times involved with each of those files, and in the specific order that it needs to be sequenced in order for that video editing application to make sense of it. So this is an example of how we can use that workflow we just showed you to do exactly that, and now build a bridge between AIware and Adobe Premiere. So with that said, that shows you how Automate works. I'm going to turn things over back to Ryan.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ben. That was awesome. So you saw there what was possible through the Discovery app that Veritone has developed, as well as how you would build something similar in terms of AI workflows in Automate Studio. So let's talk a little bit about deployment, and then we'll wrap it up. AIware and Automate Studio are deployable on the cloud today, as well as hybrid and on-premise. And you can see all the different environments there, from AWS to Azure to the GovCloud versions of that. So very, very flexible on deployment. If you need certain things on-prem and other things in the cloud, or there's sensitive data on-prem that you need to ingest, that's certainly possible with AIware and Automate. So what are some next steps? Whether you are an ML Ops developer or an ML Ops manager, or someone who's more of a citizen developer, business analyst, or someone just responsible for process automation initiatives, and you see a problem here with content processing and how long it's taking to get the information and insight and visibility that you need. Whoever you are, there is a opportunity for you to sign up and use Automate Studio for free. You get the first user free plus $100 of engine processing credits, which actually goes a long way. So you could do plenty of interesting POCs and other things to kind of test it out and see if it's right for you. And so there's a link there below where you can click on that and visit to sign up for free. We also just launched a program called the Ambassador Program that allows you to get paid to build flows. So if this, as you're learning the product and as you're creating workflows that use these cognitive engines, and you realize that this is something that is not only going to work for you, but something that you'd want to pass on to others. We have a wish list of flows, what we call, that are flows that we would like to see out of the box to be built. And so if you visit the link below, you can see what those flows are. And if you build it and it gets approved by Veritone, you will get paid. And you also get paid if your flow is used by others. So if others come in and sign up through your flow, you would get paid for that too. So it's a great way to not only use the product, but make some money. So I would encourage everyone to give us a call for a live demonstration if you'd like to talk about your specific content challenges, whatever your need might be. We are here to help you to tame that content and get it under control and get some visibility and insight into your video, audio, and text. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's time and look forward to speaking with you soon.